Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back for another match preview. I hope you're still buzzing after that FA Cup match against the Gunners. I'm still buzzing. We're still riding them. I can still feel it. Like I'm still all energetic and excited and everything. And I'm still kind of in that shameless mode. I really don't care. Rich, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Hope things are going well, man. Danny B in the house. Good to see you too, Danny. But I'm still buzzing and I'm still shameless. And because of that, I'm just going to throw this out there because I feel like it. But we are back for another match preview. Fresh off the back of knocking those diving, whiny Gunners out of the FA Cup. We do prepare to host Southampton on Thursday at Old Trafford. As you know, if you've been following the channel, I will be at the match. So I am taking off tomorrow afternoon, flying overnight, getting in Thursday around 10-11 local time, and then that match is 8 o'clock. So getting there, getting to the Airbnb, going to pick up a few snacks at Tesco to keep at the Airbnb, going to grab some lunch, and then I'm probably hitting Bishop Blaze up and just starting early because those are my people there. But I will be at that match. I will be at the match Sunday. I will be at the FA Youth Cup match on Friday, and then I will be at the Salford Fleetwood Town match on Saturday. And I'm pretty sure we're going to try to hit up the women's Manchester Derby that Sunday. I think that one kicks off a couple hours after the Brighton match gets out. So plenty of time to get over to the Etihad and probably double their fan base that they usually see there. So in any case, Danny said, when you leave, yeah, man, we're taking off tomorrow, man. Just finishing up some last minute packing today, and then we are heading out. Let me take this off the screen because I'm sure you guys are tired of seeing that. But I'm absolutely here for the savagery, and I don't care. But today we are going to preview Sunday, the Southampton match. I'm going to take a look at the form of both Southampton and United. Right, Southampton not in great form. United pretty decent run of results here. Look at team news, what we can expect to see from Southampton. They do have a new manager in Ivan Juric, so we're going to look at that. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are going to get stuck in with a little bit of transfer news and updates first and foremost, and then we'll dive into the preview. Danny's jealous. Well, hopefully we win because like I said, you guys know I'm a bit of a bad luck charm. When I was there last year for Crystal Palace and Galatasaray, we lost both those matches. When Justin and I were there the year prior, we were there for the Real Betis match in the Europa League, which went well. But then the Southampton match, then we drew 1-1. So little annoying, but hopefully it was just a one-off thing. But we will see what happens there. First and foremost, a little bit of news. Diego Leon was at Old Trafford this week. He was spotted at Old Trafford. He was meeting some people. He was getting his medical and stuff. I'm sure we'll see an announcement at some point soon. But Diego Leon was at Old Trafford. He took some photos checking out the pitch in the stadium. And then obviously he met up with a couple of players, couple of members of the squad. And so you can see him there with Licha and Alejandro Garnacho. So big up Diego Leon, really excited. Dude, look at the size of this kid, though. I mean, I know Licha's not the biggest kid, but the kid, and then I know you guys have probably seen pictures. I'm sure you've seen him floating around social media. Diego Leon, the dude is an absolute unit. He's a 17-year-old, and the dude is just built, man. He's like one step away from Adama Traore settings out here, this kid. He looks like a Hulk. You guys know Hulk? I don't know where Hulk is playing at these days, like Huracan or something. I don't remember. But yeah, this kid is built. He's an absolute unit. But he was at Old Trafford, so that's pretty much done and dusted. Just waiting on the official announcement from the club on that one. But good to see us getting some business done, first and foremost. So moving on to some news. So breaking news today. I don't know if you guys saw, Sky Sports was reporting on it, but United have learned their fate regarding PSR, and they are among the rest of the Premier League clubs who have learned their fate. But according to Sky Sports, it was breaking news today. No Premier League clubs have been charged with PSR breaches. So we're not getting fined. We're not seeing any sort of points deductions or anything as per that report. So that's good. It sounds like we've satisfied the PSR. So maybe that means we'll get some stuff done. Maybe because we're out of the red, we can start doing something. I don't know. Maybe we can make a signing this month. We might make a signing this month because as Danny's jumping in, so you talked about that Nene kid at RB before. I haven't spoken about this kid before. Dorgeles, I think is how you say his name. But that brings me to my next piece of news, Danny. So this is coming from Fabrizio Romano today. According to Romano, Manchester United have added Nene Dorgeles from RB Salzburg to their list of options either this month or the summer. Could be as early as this month. He's from Mali, so yeah, this is a third Malian player that we've been linked with. One of whom we've already signed in Sekou Kone, and then we did, I think it was, I forget his, Baba Diakite, I think was his name we talked about last week, another a midfielder. And now we've got this other player, an attacker. He plays as a striker. He can play as a left midfielder. He can play in that number 10 role too, as kind of like a second striker. But apparently we're monitoring him. Initial talks to be informed on the prices and all that stuff have already taken place, according to Fabrizio Romano. And we're still kind of working on that before we make a decision. If true, I definitely see Christopher Vavell's fingerprints all over this move. We know he was here as an interim basis. We spoke about last week that Christopher Vavell could be set to be handed a permanent role at United in that regard after Dan Ashworth left. We know that Christopher Vavell has a lot of experience working with the RB group in general. So another RB player. The kid's 22 years old. Like I said, plays center forward. Left midfielder. It's reported that he's being looked at as a Rashford replacement. We will see. He's 22, so he's definitely not someone who's going to come in and go into the youngsters. He's 22 years old, so he's already ready to go. Looking at his numbers, again, I don't know a ton about this kid. I don't know every single player. It's like I said the other day, it was like when I worked at a bookstore, people would come in, ask me if I know where this book is, and I had to look it up, and people would sometimes get shocked that I just didn't know every book that's ever been written at a bookstore. Like, I only know the books that I read that I'm interested in. I can't know everybody, but looking at this kid's number, he's got 4 goals, 2 assists in just 14 matches this season, 2 times Team of the Week features. Right now, he's the 10th highest rated player in the Austrian league at the moment, 4th in the league for successful dribbles per 90 as well. So the kid is doing bits this year. He carries the ball. When you're 4th in any league for a stat like that, that's pretty good. So let me see what Danny's saying here. Danny B says, going forward reminds me of Valencia. Hopefully he makes an impact. Diego Leon. Yeah, that is a better comparison. He is built. Here does remind me of Antonio Valencia a little bit. Danny says we could do better. Naipan, but I trust Vavell. I just started a new FC25 career mode. I was waiting for them to update the live start points because they hadn't updated those since December. So now they've updated them. I can start a new career. So I've just added a bunch of players, and now I got to figure out which ones to sign. Maybe you guys can help me out. Which players should I sign? It's mid-January, so I try to keep it realistic. I try to be a little immersive. I don't try to just go all out, but keep in mind January. So let me know who I should sign for United in my January window in my career mode. I will take suggestions to heart and under consideration. Danny B definitely not best in class. You're talking about this Dorsley's kid. Might not be best in class, but he might be a hidden gem. His numbers in terms of goal output don't scream best in class. I mean, if we're getting someone to bring to United from an Austrian league, I would want them to almost like we talk about youngsters when they seem to be too good for that level. I want players from the Austrian league, for instance, who are too good for the Austrian league. Now, that being said, I'm only going by a little bit of what I've researched and what I've seen because like I said, have never heard of this kid. But 4 goals, 2 assists, so 6 goal involvements in 14 matches at that level. And for a 22-year-old coming to Manchester United, I would want a little bit more. I'd probably want at least 6 goals and 5 assists or something at some point, because we need help. We need someone who's going to be able to handle this level. At 22 years old, you definitely have to hit the ground running. I don't know if he moves the needle, but again, I've been wrong about stuff in the pour before. Rasta Stocks, how are you doing, my friend? He says Zerkamp has to start. We need this win. We're going to talk about that. We are just finishing up the transfer talk and stuff right now. Danny B says, hopefully Sean trust Vavell. I do trust Vavell. Danny, and I think that you're in the same vein as well. I don't mind the hidden gems. I don't mind the actual next level scouting, uncovering people. Maybe I like it when we find these players that no one's heard of. I actually really, really like that. But I also need to know that these players are going to be good enough. And not saying this kid's not. I'm just saying I don't know. Look, I can only base on what I see so far, which is admittedly very small sample size. So we'll see. Like you're saying, I'm trusting the scouts again. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You never know if any transfer is going to work out, but it is what it is. We thought Sancho was going to be really good, and it just hasn't done. He hasn't done that. So, but even if guys like Diego Leon, Nene Jorgeles, Sekou Kone, Obi Martin, et cetera, even if they're not quite ready for the first team, there could be first team options elsewhere for them to get minutes and develop even after signing for us. So enter Lausanne Sport, a Swiss club owned by Ineos. So Ineos own 3 clubs. They own Lausanne Sport, they own Nice, and they now own Manchester United. But there could be an opportunity here for a little bit of a pathway here. So speaking to German outlet Blick, Lausanne sporting director Stefan Henschaz discussed the prospect of United utilizing our connection to Lausanne to help young players develop. In fact, 3 youngsters have already spent time training there. Oganai, Kingdon, and Ethan Williams have all spent time training at Lausanne Sport as well. And so this is what Lausanne sporting director had to say when he was interviewed. Says a world-class club like Manchester United, a top club like Nice, and a smaller organization like Lausanne Sport opens up options for exchanging players. So we're talking about an opportunity, buying youngsters, sending them out to a club like Lausanne to develop, basically, to get some minutes in that league. It's kind of like a halfway point between the academy and, in and around the match day squad, if that makes sense. He said 3 talented Red Devils players trained with us for a week, accompanied by a delegation from Manchester. They were positively surprised by our work. So again, he's talking about Oganai, Kingdon, and Ethan Williams. They came, they trained, they saw what it was like, and they said that they were impressed. And then he closed the interview by saying Lausanne can be an option for Manchester United players who still need to mature. Exactly like what I just said. It's kind of like driving a car. It's not just gas and brake. There's a middle ground where you can kind of coast a little bit, and this could be a coast for these youngsters in some ways. I don't mind having that little resource in order to help these players get a little bit more experience, if that makes sense. But I thought that was an interesting little interview. You guys let me know what your thoughts are on that. We have some news that could impact Marcus Rashford's future at the club. So sticking with Romano, he reports that RB Leipzig have canceled the transfer of Noah Okafor from AC Milan after he failed his medical test in the last day or so. The report says that their staff did not approve the medical, and he's going to leave Germany soon to go back to Milan. So he was in Germany trying to do medical, and he did not pass his medical. I know he was dealing with a little bit of an injury, I feel like. So we know that AC Milan were interested in Rashford. We know that we talked the other day about how they were possibly losing Okafor, could leave a winger-shaped hole in that squad. Now it sounds like that's not going to happen. Furthermore, due to Brexit registration rules, AC Milan can only sign one more English player this window, and that's coming from Ben Jacobs. And he reports even that at the moment, their preference is Kyle Walker. I saw a little bit going around yesterday that Kyle Walker could be leaving. I don't pay close attention to City, so I really don't know. If you guys know, let me know if you've seen anything like that. I haven't. But if they do, it sounds like, according to Ben Jacobs, if Milan want Kyle Walker, if their preference is a right back, that would max out their Brexit-related registration as far as players go. So what does this mean for AC Milan's interest in Marcus Rashford? He's clearly not in Amorim's plan. Now, that's of his own volition. I'm sure that there's a pathway back to the first team, but it's all on Rashford. He put himself in this situation, and he could very easily work himself back towards a spot in the squad. It's just up to him. But if he's not in the plans, if there's not a way to make this happen, then we need to get him off the books. Wages getting off the books could help. Again, we've spoken about the differences between selling him now versus a 6-month loan and then selling him in the summer. Could he possibly improve his value? Would you rather just cut everything now and get it out of here? You guys let me know, but we do need to find a way to get some money in if we're going to make some signings, despite, satisfying PSR. Usman, welcome, my friend. How are you? Hope you're doing well, my friend. So you guys let me know what you think about Rashford. Some big news again regarding Noah Okafor. Looks like he's not going anywhere. At least he's not going to RB Leipzig. So Interesting. Going to be awkward though when a club says you can leave and then you come back after failing a medical. Then now what? Now what's supposed to happen? You just keep looking for another club? Do you just sit on the bench forever? Do you play and everyone think we just all kind of move on awkwardly? You guys let me know because we are going to jump into this match preview. Hit that like button, please. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Get ready to get in your predictions. So on Southampton. So a little bit of history. It was plain for everyone to see, if you've been watching Southampton this season, that Russell Martin wasn't going to last at the club. The Premier League it wasn't going to be a good fit. I'm not trying to kick a man when he's down, but I've said before, even at United, with the difference in quality of players we have compared to Southampton, I've said before that I do not like playing out from the back, at least slowly. I don't think it works when you're up against every team now wants to press from the front, wants to press in those numbers, wants to set up in a front four to block those passing lanes. I don't think it can work unless you have a very, very high quality player. Despite its statistical promise playing out from the back, statistically it's supposed to be better in terms of possession. We just haven't seen it. And you definitely didn't see that at Southampton because Russell Martin just insisted on pushing his luck, playing this very dangerous game over and over again, insisted on his keeper and his defenders playing some very risky balls. We've seen them concede sloppy goals like that. And it cost him time and time again, and ultimately cost him his job. Enter Ivan Juric, who's come in. He favors an intense counter-pressing approach, especially off the ball. He likes to set his teams up to just be difficult to play through. He likes to break up the opposition play by blocking passing lanes, making those interceptions well before they reach his team's half. They want to win that ball in midfield, basically. And that's something Southampton has struggled with. They've tended to win the ball deeper in their half. When Ivan Juric wants his sides to win the ball a little higher up the pitch. Not necessarily in the final third, not like a gegenpress necessarily, but something in midfield. Very physical, very energetic. Something that we struggle to play against, just mostly due to depth. We just don't have quality in midfield and numbers. Juric's biggest task at Southampton was shoring up the Saints' defense. Bottom of the table on 6 points right now, on 44 goals conceded, only 12 goals scored. That's just not great. It's a negative 32 goal differential. 1 win, 3 draws, and 16 losses for Southampton this season is an enormous hill to climb for that club. And it's as sound as Ivan Juric's tactics are, it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get his players to deliver on that approach and start to begin to make any sort of ascent up that hill. So he took over following an 8-game winless run in all competitions that saw Southampton score just 5 goals and they conceded 19. Again, this is why they're bottom of the table. And even now, he's been here 4 games, and his results are a bit mixed. So started with a 1-0 loss to West Ham, 2-1 loss to Palace, 5-0 loss to Brentford. And they just recently came out victorious 3-0 against Swansea this past weekend in the Cup. So mixed. So maybe if they can continue to play championship caliber teams, they can get some points. He set his teams up recently in a 3-4-1-2 with Dibbling and Sulemana kind of interchanging up front, Mateus Fernandes sitting behind them. You guys remember I spoke about Mateus Fernandes as a player I would like to see us target if Southampton get relegated. He's a very good number 10. I think he's too good for Southampton. I think he could easily make the step up. Gives us energy, creativity, legs in that number 10 role. So go check him out a little bit. So Dibbling, in particular, picked up a brace on Sunday. Sulemana grabbed the goal and an assist. So again, it could be good for their confidence getting some goals. We know Dibbling can be dangerous. Sulemana seems to pop up like that. Look for them to play a little bit of a higher line. So compared to what they were playing under Russell Mountain, because they did that slow build up, they're going to play a little bit higher. Bednarak is going to play that central defender role with the other defenders splitting apart. And the ball is going to go to Bednarak, and then he's going to kind of dictate where it goes from there. But he's going to sit a little higher up, just outside the box. They want to work that ball wide. They want to get it forward, and they want to find their pacey attackers. So we need to be able to watch out for that. We can't be chasing shadows like we were against Arsenal. That first half against Arsenal was rough. We were chasing the game. And we did. Obviously, we got the win. It's just a lot of the players were really, really slow to everything in that game. So we need to do better than that. Heading into this one, United are coming off a very two very positive results against two of the best teams in the league in Liverpool and Arsenal, and obviously we can't discount the derby, but in between it was not great. The performance against Liverpool was excellent. And again, while the performance wasn't great against Arsenal on Sunday, mostly because it was 10 versus 12 for the whole match pretty much, we ended up getting the victory. Again, that's all that matters. Southampton, any team does have the potential to be one of those tricky, kind of struggling sides who can cause trouble for us. We just seem to struggle against some of these plucky, physical, energetic sides who they run, they bully us. We just seem to struggle with that. We can't ever seem to match that energy. We did it against Liverpool, but can you name another time where we look like we matched the energy and the pace and the physicality of the opposition this season? Because I can't, other than the Liverpool match. What does give me increased hope, though, is what I've seen from us since Amorim's had more time to train his squad. The mentality, the biggest shift I've seen in mentality was that Liverpool match. Like, that was night and day from what we've seen from this squad all season. And even against Arsenal, not only could you see an extra mentality, we had that dog in us against Arsenal. We were up for it. Ugarte was having none of what Havertz was throwing around. And we started to kind of really kind of match that intensity, but we added a little bit of that dog, like I said. But even against Arsenal, you could also see, again, with more training, some of the defensive principles that Amorim wants being implemented. There was a moment where we had the ball. I can't remember if it was a free kick or a corner, but Maguire gets it. He's at the far post. We find Maguire. He heads it back across the goalpost. Raya collects it. But as soon as Raya gets it, it was like a trigger. Literally, every one of our players busted a gut to transition back in defense, to get back in numbers, like we've seen opposition do against us, but also like we saw in Amorim's first training session. You remember in the footage from that very first training session, Amorim was running this drill where we'd have the ball, and if we lost it or something, he would blow the whistle, and then everyone's job was just to transition back to defense. It's exactly what we saw against Arsenal, which is exactly what we haven't been seeing from United all season. We see it from every team we play against. We just haven't seen enough from us. Energy. We know we lack fitness. Every manager we've had in the last couple of years has said that. Jose, Ollie, Ten Hag, we lack fitness. We lack that physicality. Problem is, it's just we haven't had much time to train since Amorim showed up. So we need to, hopefully with more training, we'll see more and more of what he's looking for. Starting 11, what are we thinking? No Diogo Dalot for this one after he picked up that second yellow against Arsenal and got sent off on Sunday. I read somewhere that Manuel Ugarte could be facing a retrospective ban for his role in some of those handbags with Shai Havertz. Yeah, I said Shai Havertz. Have that, Arsenal. I don't care. But I haven't seen anything about it, so it'd probably be too late for anything like that. Plus, if Matheus Cunha can go like 3 matches without getting a suspension for what he did, I mean, come on. Of course it is United. We'll get in trouble for it. If he does get a ban, but Kai Havertz doesn't, we riot. Because if you've seen the clips going out there, I reposted something on the channel's Twitter page of Havertz with his hand around Ugarte's throat. Like, if Ugarte gets a ban and Shai Havertz doesn't, then we riot. We absolutely riot. But if Ugarte is banned, I'd probably start Collyer. If he's not banned, obviously we're going to start Ugarte. But I'd probably start Collyer. I might even say Collyer might start ahead of Manu. Not because Manu's been poor. I just liked what Collier's bringing. Every time Collyer has played for us, he's looked very good. His reading of the game, the way he came on against Arsenal and just popped up in all the right places, did his job, covering every blade of grass when he came on, getting physical, matching their physicality. And this is a youngster, so I might even start him just to get a bit of physicality to see what he can do with a little bit of that with a starting role. He started against Barnsley, but he started in left back. I want to see Collyer get some more minutes. Onana will likely be back in goal. I wonder if Ahmad's going to remain in that 10 role after he's done so well against big opposition in the last couple matches. He came on in the 81st minute against Arsenal, Ahmad, and he created more chances than any United player on the night. So again, it's another stat, though, that highlights the lack of service for our strikers. If someone comes on in the 81st minute and creates more chances than any other of his teammates that whole match, what does that tell you? That tells you we're not doing enough in the final third. We're not creating enough opportunities. Question, though, the big question is Does Xerxes start over Hoyland? Danny says Collyer composed, good football IQ, great engine. Yeah, exactly. The kid, and that's such a key right there, Danny. The good footballing IQ. If you can read the game, it doesn't matter how fast you are. It doesn't matter how good you are in terms of picking a pass, playing Trivella passes. So you don't have to be Modric. It helps, but if you can read the game and you can position yourself and just anticipate, that makes all the difference. You'll look twice as fast as everybody else if mentally you're already there. And I think Collier does show that in glimpses. I've seen it, and he's as far as it's like what we saw from Manu last season. Just the level of reading the game like that. Just when you look calm, or like Yoro, even Yoro looks so calm and composed. Dennis says yes. Xerxes starts for me. Yeah, it's a question, right? It's does Xerxes get the start? You guys, let me do this in the chat here. Let's start a poll for you guys. Let me see what you guys are saying. And you guys let me know, should Xerxes start on Thursday against Southampton at Old Trafford? Should he start over Hoyland? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. It is still early days in terms of the age of Amorim, but Amorim's not losing any fans anytime soon. Ahead of the Liverpool match, Manchester United hadn't scored at Anfield since 2018. And honestly, we were the better side that game. We were unlucky, I thought, to drop points. Before the Arsenal match, Manchester United hadn't won at the Emirates since 2019. Those are big. When's the last time we won a derby at the Etihad? And we got that as well. Amorim is winning a lot of fans. He's keeping a lot of those fans won over. It's looking good. I'm not too worried about Southampton, quite frankly. I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just not too worried. Even under Ten Hag, we beat him 3-0 at St. Mary's earlier this season. You guys remember we did that watch along for that. Really what this match could represent is a really good chance to improve our goal differential, to build some momentum, and boost our confidence. No offense to Southampton again, but this is a good opportunity for us to do that. I don't like feeling like I'm taking anything for granted because, again, we know you can't, but this is an opportunity for us to do this if we can sustain. This shows us that we need to be able to sustain. We've shown up against these big sides. We've shown up for big matches. We've struggled against some of these other ones. So we need to be able to do this. What are you guys predicting from this match? What are you guys saying in this poll so far? So 100, you guys want Xerxes to start. You guys let me know your starting 11. Honestly, I don't see much changing for me other than you might say Maguire could sit this one out, but probably not. I'm probably just going to keep rolling with what we have with me. Honestly, for me, I'm probably starting Xerxes over Hoyland. I think that he deserves it after what we saw. But we'll see what happens. But that's probably the only change I would make. An argument could be made maybe to start Collyer over someone like Manu. But for now, and then Dallo. We got to figure out what we're doing for left wing back. Probably going to be Malacia. I know Malacia came on in the last couple of minutes, so probably going to be Malacia on the left wing back. But you guys let me know what you do. The real issue here, the only thing that worries me is Justin and I were there 2 years ago, like I said, and it was a 1-1 draw. And then I feel like I'm a bad luck charm. So pray that we're not going to bring bad luck with us. Pray that it's going to go well. Pray for good weather because it's a late kickoff. Danny says Ahmad in wing back, Garnacho in 10. So you're putting Ahmad back on the right wing back, and are you putting Mazraoui back in center back, or are you putting Ahmad on the left hand side? Interesting. You let me know specifics of what you're thinking there, Danny boy. Because for me, I'm definitely not starting Garnacho again. Because he started against Liverpool? I can't remember now. No, he started yesterday or on Sunday, and he wasn't really doing enough for me. He got the assist, right? But he doesn't look fully ready to play that kind of number 10 role, Garnacho. But thankfully, that 10 role is a bit of a free roam. Our 10s get wide, they work in. There's nothing wrong with that. He just got to learn how to play a little better. But I'm predicting a 4-1 win for United. I think that this is an opportunity to grab some goals. What are you guys predicting in the chat? Chowview, would you take 50 million for Garnacho? Oh, depends on when. It depends on when. Now or in the summer. because I don't think we can afford to lose him now. We can't let, in my opinion, we can't let Rashford just chill and not want to use him, and then also sell Garnacho, because now that's two players that we've got to replace. And whether or not we're skint, or whether or not any of us just don't want to spend money right now, you know that we're not going to be able to replace both of those players right now. And of the two, Garnacho probably has the biggest chance of developing into this system and growing into this system. So I probably wouldn't take 50 million now. It would take a lot more than 50 million for me to take money for Garnacho now, personally. But what would you do? Would you take that, Chow? Let me know if you would take 50 mil. Danny's 11. I'm out of right wing back. Maz left wing back. Gotcha. Garnacho, Bruno in a 10. Xerxes up front. Yeah, the Garnacho and Xerxes could work up front, right? Because Xerxes does do well when there's some runners around him. We've seen against Arsenal that he can hold the ball. I mean, the way he nutmegged Saliba twice on that one play, and then had him turning and spinning like Bambi on ice. They literally ran into each other. I forget who Saliba ran into, but they basically tripped each other, and he was just gone. And I was like, that's insane. The way he took that ball down too was a thing of beauty. But Xerxes definitely, we gave him his flowers on Sunday. Neil Pillay, welcome, my friend, says, no, bro, we got to stop with the high predictions. Why do we have to stop with the high predictions? We beat Southampton 3-0 earlier this season, and that was under Erik ten Hag. And what we've seen under Amorim is mentality, is the energy has raised a little, the physicality. If we can maintain it, I don't think there's any reason to think we can't put 4-1. Neil says, keep the promises low in the delivery. I'm not on the pitch. If I was playing, I'd be like, we'll win like 1-0. But I'm going to call it 4-1 United. I'm not even afraid. Danny says, we got to ask ourselves this. If Garnacho played for Madrid or Barcelona at his age, his numbers, he wouldn't have a price. They wouldn't sell him. Yeah, I mean, 50 million seems low for Garnacho. And if there's bigger clubs that are interested, there's definitely going to be, more clubs of that size, of that level interested as well. I wouldn't feel any pressure to sell Garnacho in January if it were me. Chow says, Ineos on fraud watch. Danny, he's speaking your language, Danny. Danny calls him Spinios. Chow View says, Ineos on fraud watch. Either back Amorim or fuck off. I'll wait United in the summer for selling Garnacho 50-60 million. No, honestly, we know it's that Rashford situation all over again for me. Like, if you sell Rashford now, his value is the lowest it's going to be, which is why I'm more open maybe to a loan for Rashford, even if we're paying part wages. And then in the summer, if he goes someplace on loan, like Lingard did at West Ham, and he performs, the value is going to increase. Now, I'm not only concerned about value, but I think we should be getting more for Rashford than some of these prices I'm seeing right now. He didn't help us with the interview that he gave to Henry Winter. That doesn't help our negotiation. And it doesn't help us that he's not playing, but it seems like it's more important just to send a message right now than to get max value for him. Because, again, we've got someone like Garnacho, who's basically the same player as Rashford, who probably be worth twice as much. Neil Pillay says, the high prediction sets the bar high. From what I've seen, it leads to a toxic fan base. Not from here, but from the socials. When we fail, it's chaos. So rather just take it game by game. I mean, it's chaos no matter what, honestly. Like I said, if we can win 3-0 under Ten Hag at St. Mary's, there's no reason to think, the way we've been playing, that we can't make it 4-1. It's literally the same goal margin. It's just we've scored one more and we've allowed another goal. We'll probably concede on a set piece or corner, because we usually do. But we'll see. It is going to be a later kickoff. I will be there with my buddy Justin. We're taking off tomorrow afternoon, heading to the airport, flying overnight, getting to Amsterdam, and then hopping on a flight from Amsterdam to Manchester. So we'll be there for Southampton. We'll be there for Brighton as well. And we're going to squeeze in a couple other matches. We've got a FA Youth Cup match for the youth team on Friday. We've got Salford versus Fleetwood Town that we're going to on Saturday. And then, like I said, we might hit up the women's Manchester Derby on Sunday, too. I need to call them. Chow says Rashford is gone. It seems that way, doesn't he? Again, all this is of Rashford's own making. He has the opportunity. He just chose a different path, and it is what it is. It didn't have to be this way, but it is now. So, Rasta says, Collyer, do you think we could put them in the squad more often? Because I like what he did against Arsenal. Yeah, we said that in the match reaction. If you guys watched that was my second point. Was Collyer needs minutes. When he came on, when we're against Liverpool, when Casemiro was having an absolute shocker. Collyer came on form at halftime and looked very good. The match was pretty much gone at that point, but he looked very good. He started against Barnsley at left back, so out of his position, and then he's been injured for a little bit. Now he's back, and he looked very good. Like I said, he popped up in the right places. He has a really good reading of the game. Like Danny said, good footballing IQ, energetic, good fight. I like what I see from Collier. I wouldn't mind maybe seeing him get a start, whether it's for Ugarte, whether it's for Manu. I wouldn't mind seeing him get a start at some point. He needs more minutes for sure, though. Neil says, definitely a logical expectation. Enjoy the game. We'll see. These are just predictions. I'm not saying there's nothing statistical or analytical about it. I'm just like, I just feel like where we are right now, the momentum, I think we're in a better place than we were even earlier in the season, and we shut them out at their ground. So I don't see a reason why we shouldn't, looking at what we saw again, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you. I will try to enjoy the game. I'm not a good luck charm recently. Like I've said a couple times on the channel, I was there for 2 matches last season, and we lost both of them. When I was there the 2 seasons prior, and we played Southampton, it was a 1-1 draw, so we'll see. Chow says, what's your prediction for the North London Derby? Oh, it is a North London Derby, isn't it? Oh, I think Spurs might get this one, actually. Arsenal Arsenal, see, it's always that hard point. Do you think that it's a dip in form for Arsenal, or do you think they'll want to get a response? I haven't honestly looked at the North London Derby, the head-to-head, to see what it's been, but Arsenal are missing some key players. Gabriel Jesus, I think it looks like an ACL issue, so he's done. Saka's done. Nwaneri's done. I saw a rumor today that they might be getting Zubamendi in the summer. I don't know how legit that is, but Arsenal's biggest issue is not buying a striker. The problem is Spurs' biggest issue is that they're Spurs. So I do see Spurs getting one. Spurs, I think, have too much in terms of their speed, because we've seen that Arsenal, like we saw on Sunday, they are vulnerable to a counterattack. They're not very good at that, and I think that Spurs are very dangerous. Only problem is Spurs have Timo Werner too, and Timo Werner is somehow worse than Havertz, is somehow worse than Darwin Nunez, if that's even possible. Timo Werner is the worst of those three, and that's really not great. Mirror reported that Rashi failed his medical. Don't know how true it is. His medical where? Neil says that AC Milan. Did Rashford have a medical? Okafor had a medical at Leipzig that he failed. I didn't even realize Rashford had a medical. Danny's predicting a draw for the North London Derby. I could see it being like a score draw, but I don't know. I feel like Spurs might grab something. Xavi says, I question why Zubamendi mentality chose Arsenal over Liverpool. Again, these are rumors, so I don't know yet, but I mean, it might represent the best opportunity for him to get minutes. Partey's probably not going to be there too much longer. And if Partey goes, Jorginho, probably not going to be there too much longer. The guy's like, 31, 32. So there could be 2, defensive midfielders at Arsenal on their way out this summer, leaving them Declan Rice and Marino. And then who else is in midfield? I can't remember now who off the top of my head Arsenal have in midfield. So could be an opportunity to get more minutes there. And sometimes that's all about the player. Sometimes it's not. This is why I never understand why players continually go to Real Madrid when there's 3 players in their position ahead of them. Like, if I were a young number 10, I would not go to Madrid now, because they've got like 4 number 10s at that club. You're not playing if you're a young number 10 at Real Madrid right now. It's just the way it is. If I were a center back, I'd be all over it, because they need center backs and right backs and stuff. If I were a young 18-year-old in Madrid wanted to sign me up as right back, I'd be all over it. Whatever happened to Odriozola? Didn't they have him? They signed him a while back, and I haven't seen much of him. What is Neil saying? How do you sack Jose before a final? I mean, the question is, how do you hire Jose? Period. Jose, I was telling Justin, my buddy Justin, the other day. You guys will meet him. He's been on the channel before. He and I did a big video in the summer, looking at the transfer window that we did. But I telling Justin, like, Jose Mourinho, he doesn't make his living as a manager. He makes his living collecting payoffs and severance packages from these clubs, because the dude is just getting paid money upon money upon money when he gets sacked from these clubs. But Jose is just too toxic. He's too big a narcissist to last. You can't have that. And when you're at a club like, Spurs, where Daniel Levy kind of runs things a little bit, and before Harry Kane left, Harry Kane pretty much run that show, but you just can't Neil says Timo Werner is now injured. Oh, Timo Werner is injured. Interesting. So this is a thing with hamstrings too. When your game, when your profile as a player is built primarily around speed, like look at Van de Ven, you're in Gareth Bale, you're gonna pick up a lot of those injuries, and they're not gonna get better. They just don't. This is why you guys, when we talk about players like Nuno Mendes or even Alphonso Davies or something, why some people are so they question the fact that I don't want us to sign these players, because then it's not the number of injuries, it's the nature of injuries you got to look at, because the hamstrings, the calves, the ankles, all that stuff is so interconnected, and it doesn't get any better. You're not going to Your whole profession is built around elite level running, stopping, jumping, pivoting, acceleration. The pressure and the strain you're going to put on your legs is not going to get any better. It's just not. And when you add to that our absolute not fit for purpose medical staff, literally, like I've said, Dr. Dre, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Seuss just chilling in the office at Old Trafford, it's not going to get any better. So there's a reason why I'm not fully on board with the Nuno Mendes, because the dude missed a whole season with a hamstring injury. I'm not about that life. Chow says Liverpool became rejected FC. Love to see it. I'm absolutely here for it. I mean, Liverpool, obviously, they're doing well this season. It helps that City are in absolute free fall, and we've, had to go through another manager. When you sack a manager mid-season, clearly you're not doing well. Chelsea are probably their biggest threat, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I would have said Arsenal their biggest threat, but are Arsenal really a threat ever? Let's be honest. Arsenal missed the boat. It is what it is. Neil says Nacho is solid. So many games without any injuries. Touch wood. At Madrid, did he go back to Madrid? I remember I saw a rumor that he was going back. He was in the Saudi league, right? That's interesting. So, but in any case, let me know your score predictions. I'm predicting a 4-1. What do you guys think this is going to be on Thursday? Garnacho. Yeah. No, you're good, bro. Yeah, he has played. He hasn't really had many injuries. He can play. I mean, obviously, he's still young. Again, my only issue with Garnacho right now is some of the decision making, and that doesn't just apply to on pitch. It applies to like social media and whatnot. But also, just are you able to accommodate this system and accommodate a new role? I think he's young enough to. It's just about if he wants to. If he'd rather just play that traditional left wing role and go to a club that plays that system, then that's up to him. I think that he's young enough to. See, Neil, you coming after me. Danny Boy's going even harder in the paint, man. 5-1, says Danny. Hopefully that's a 5-1 United win, but I'm predicting 4-1. Danny says it's going to be 5-1. I don't think there's any reason we can't. I think that, your biggest threats are going to be Dibbling. I don't see many other players besides like their front three that are going to offer a ton of threat. Malacia needs to be alive, because I think it's who plays on the right? Is it Walker Peters? I can't remember off the top of my head. But sorry, it's been all over the place the last couple of days trying to pack and whatnot, and trying to make sure I'm trying to get everything sorted. But Neil says, let's hope you get the 4-1 Rasmus hat-trick with Xerxes better. It's a question. We did that poll real quick to see, should Xerxes start? I think there's an argument that Xerxes can start. I think Rasmus, again, being a young player and really being the only striker we have in Rasmus, it's kind of like when Garnacho wasn't really facing a whole lot of competition for his spot. I've said many times, the one consistent thing you're going to get from youngsters is the inconsistency. And when they're in a dip in form, because they are young and they're still learning and developing, you have to be able to take them out of the spotlight a little bit or manage those minutes. And we just haven't been able to due to lack of squad depth. It's the same way right now with Højlund. If Xerxes can come on and play a role, we said after that Everton game that there's an opportunity for Xerxes to have a role in this team playing that way. The problem with Xerxes is the lack of consistency. So he's still young. Was he 23, 24? But again, he is the most senior kind of attacker other than Rashford right now. So we need the consistency. It's completely up to him and what he does in these matches. He's had that one Everton match and like a couple of good cameos, coming on against Liverpool and fighting for that. And obviously coming out against Arsenal. It was a big call, letting him take that final pen, and he put it away, and we were all celebrating. And, there's a redemption arc possibility. There is an opportunity for Xerxes to have a role. I'm still not convinced based on what I've seen so far, but he's just got to maintain this level. I think he can. It's just, I don't decide that. So we'll see. But I'm going 4-1. Danny's going 5-1. Hopefully, it'll be even more. I think there's an opportunity. How many did we put past them under Ollie? Was that a 9 something match when they got someone red carded like in the first couple minutes? So it's possible. But let me know your thoughts in the comments if you weren't able to catch the live. Hit that like button if you haven't yet done so. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. You want to get involved. You guys know that this channel is basically your channel. It's all about your opinion. I try to make sure everybody's voice gets heard, everybody's opinion gets put out there. Not right or wrong, it's just about opinion. So I appreciate everybody stopping by. I will be checking in with you guys periodically while I'm in Manchester. Justin and I will be kind of decompressing after some of these games when we get back for the Airbnb. So we will be checking in with you. Look out for a video tomorrow night while I'm in the air. I've got a video set to go for you. So Danny B says, I think Xerxes steps up against Southampton. I think the best thing for Xerxes was that 10-minute cameo, or really it was like 30-minute cameo, right? Because the momentum, the confidence, the morale it's going to boost for him, that could be so huge. After he got basically booed off the other week, and then just coming back and playing, and just that shows to me a mentality, that shows to me a determination. And I think that getting the winner, coming on and fighting for everything like he did, I think that is everything. And so, and like Neil says, the word of the day, the word that we've been discussing on this channel since its inception, basically last spring, resilience. His resilience being developed and will help the rest of the team with their mentality too. I think Amorim has played a very big role in the mentality shift that we've seen. I think that he's like Ten Hag. He has standards and they're applied throughout the squad, and he holds everyone to them, like he's doing with Rashford. But I think unlike Ten Hag, I think he is a little bit more personable. He is a little bit more easy to talk to, relatable in that regard. Ten Hag, I mean, nobody's calling Amorim a bully for what's going on with Rashford, but everybody was quick to call Ten Hag a bully for the Sancho situation. But I think it's down to the likability between Ten Hag and Amorim, and it's not fair necessarily, but it is the way life is sometimes, unfortunately. So we will see. Agile Beast, welcome, my friend. I think Euro should start. Yeah. Euro, I mean, he definitely came on. I mean, we saw him against Liverpool when he made that world-class goal-saving tackle to deny Darwin Nunez. I think it's a question, should Harry Maguire, obviously, is a little older. He's coming back from an injury not too long ago, and he's been playing a lot. Obviously, Maguire was immense, but everybody's immense. So it's a good problem to have, right, to figure out who sits and who starts. I think maybe this could be an opportunity for De Ligt to get pushed back to the central defender role. Maybe De Ligt, or Yoa comes on and starts on the right. Maybe De Ligt sits one out for a second and Maguire still starts. I think Maguire, we're going to have to manage his minutes a little bit, unfortunately. I did read a report yesterday that Maguire was actually sick like the 2 days prior to the Arsenal match, but he wanted to play anyway. So it might have been a little too much strain. Maybe there's an opportunity for Maguire to sit this one out and just kind of rest. It is a good opposition to do that. This is a good opposition for Euro to get minutes against as well. I think this would be a good test for him. So good shout, Agile. Very good shout. Neil says, double standards. What can we do? It is what it is. That's just part of being a human being. We're all going to have our preferences. If you broke down, if there are people who literally will never ever think that Licha is going to be good enough simply on the sole basis of because he's short. Graham Souness still hasn't walked that back. Jamie Carragher has apologized. But it's just a preference. There are people who think you have to be fast as a defender. I don't necessarily think that speed is the most important. It's opinion. It is what it is. Some people do. If you remember, we did a video earlier in the season. It might have even been in the summer now that I think about it, on, what makes a good manager. Like, what do you value? What do you prioritize? We broke down a couple of different traits, man management, personality, trophies, tactics, wins, all that kind of stuff. And everyone's going to have a different preference. It is what it is. And so, yeah, while you can have on its surface the same standards between Amorim and Ten Hag, again, sometimes the defining factor in that, the deal breaker for some, is the personality. Ten Hag, not the greatest communicator, obviously. That's just the personality thing. It is what it is, but it's just a different style. Danny says Licha could do with the rest too. Yeah, who do you start ahead of Licha? Maybe, if Maguire starts again, maybe you put De Ligt out on the left. Maybe you put maybe Evans. Is Evans still injured? I can't remember now if Evans is still injured or not. Agile says, Maguire came off injured too. I wouldn't play him. I don't know if we should play him unless we play deep. Yeah, with the two attackers, it could be an opportunity for someone to who's a little better defending in the channels. We're probably not going to see a lot of balls into the box like we did. Maybe people who are a little better on the ball. I think I would definitely start Licha, and I'd definitely probably start Yoro. Probably going to go with the lid on this one as well. You guys are helping me pick the starting 11. You don't even realize it. Neil says we need Eric Ten Hag to walk for Ruben to be able to run. It is true. I mean, I think that you can rate Ten Hag, you can not rate Ten Hag. I was a huge Ten Hag fan when he was at Ajax, and I'm still going to back his numbers and his trophies during his time at United. You stack up his tenure as United manager against Arteta or even Klopp's first couple of years, and he's still better. He still won more, so you can't take that away. I would take the 2 years under Ten Hag over the last 2 or any 2 years under Arteta at Arsenal, because we've just been better. In our worst period, we were better than Arsenal under this Arteta regime. So it is what it is. But yeah, Ten Hag had to he kind of showed a lot of what was needed. And again, Ten Hag was another manager who inherited a Frankenstein squad of players who, quite frankly, were not fit enough, not good enough, lacked mentality, lacked resilience. And a lot of it was, down to just not having a plan, not having a kind of philosophy or a culture as a club, signing players willy-nilly for every new manager we got every couple of years, paying them way too much, overpaying for them, not selling players. All of that made it more and more difficult. And you could argue maybe Ten Hag it ultimately, the can got kicked so far down the road, eventually it had to stop being kicked. And maybe that stopped with Ten Hag when Ineos came in, when the new regime came in. Maybe now someone's picked up that can, threw it in the trash, and they're like, all right, let's go. I don't know, but I appreciate you guys stopping by today. I got to go finish up packing, go spend some time with the wife before I get going, because I am leaving tomorrow. But I'll check in with you guys. You're not going to not see me. We're going to check in. We're probably going to do some quick little lives and stuff and some vlogs while we're there. And like I said, keep a lookout tomorrow night for a fun video to pop up. Get involved in that one. Leave some comments on that one. Like the video if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 3K. You guys got us to 2K so quickly, so we are on the road to 3K. I'm excited to have the community grow and to get more and more of you involved. Check out the memberships if you want to know how to get even more involved, get involved in some of the scouting reports, even getting involved in some of the live streams, post and pre-match and whatnot. So all that is down in the description below. I'll see you guys on the next one. Next time I talk to you, I will be in Manchester. So I'm going to be 5 hours ahead of you. So keep that in mind. But I'll do what I can to make sure it's not too late. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thank you to all the new faces who jumped in today. Good to see you guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Stay warm. And hopefully when we talk again, it'll be after a victory on Thursday. So until then, have a good day, you guys. Cheers from South Africa. Awesome, man. That's awesome. This is what I love about this. In closing, just one last thought. This is what I love about having a channel. I feel like I sound old when I say this, Neil, but like the fact that this technology and this fan base is so big that it lets me connect to guys from South Africa, we've had people in here from Malaysia, people in Boston, people in Scotland, stuff. It's awesome. I love it. You guys rock. You guys are absolute legends, and I'm thankful to get to chill and chat about United with each and every one of you. So hit that like button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.